Being broke is the most expensive thing in your life. Let me ask you something uncomfortable. Have you ever ignored a problem? Not because it wasn't serious, but because you didn't have the money to deal with it right now? Maybe it was a strange noise in your car, a tooth that hurt just enough to tolerate, a bill you hoped would somehow sort itself out. In that moment, you didn't make a bad decision. You made the only decision available to you. Here's how this usually unfolds. A small problem appears with a manageable price tag, but you don't have the cash for the small fix. So you delay. You wait. You hope nothing gets worse, and then it does. The issue grows, the cost multiplies, and what could have been a few $100s turns into a few thousand. This isn't bad luck, it's a pattern. Here's the truth most people avoid saying out loud. Not having money is incredibly expensive. It costs more to fix things, more to replace things, more to borrow things, and more to recover from mistakes. Being broke isn't neutral. It comes with penalties. Most financial advice completely ignores this. It frames wealth as discipline and mindset, and poverty as poor habits. Stop buying coffee. Cancel a subscription. Just be more responsible. But that advice collapses the moment you look at how money actually works. There's an old idea known as the boots theory. If you can afford quality, you pay once. If you can't, you pay repeatedly. Cheap solutions feel manageable in the moment, until you add them up. This shows up everywhere. Groceries, banking, transportation, housing. If you have money, you get discounts. If you don't, you get fees. Stability is rewarded. Struggle is penalized. Take banking. When you have money, banks call you a valued customer. When you don't, you're labeled high risk. One small overdraft turns into a fee larger than the mistake itself. That's not protection. That's extraction. Then there's the psychological side, rarely discussed, but deeply important. When money is tight, your mental bandwidth shrinks. You stop thinking long-term. You start thinking survival. That's why stress pushes people toward fast, expensive solutions. Not because they're careless, but because they're overwhelmed. Here's the real cost of being broke. It steals your time, your energy, your focus. Everything takes longer. Everything has friction. Every decision costs more effort. And when time disappears, opportunity disappears with it. So what's the way out? It's not getting rich quickly. It's stopping the bleed. The most powerful financial tool isn't investing. It's a buffer. A small amount of saved cash changes everything. It turns emergencies into inconveniences. With a buffer, you fix problems early. You buy once instead of repeatedly. You avoid penalties before they stack. Money saved doesn't just sit there. It actively reduces future costs. This requires a shift in thinking. From, can I afford this right now? To, what does this cost me over time? Companies want you focused on monthly payments. You need to focus on lifetime cost. Here's the uncomfortable reality. The system profits when you don't understand these mechanics. Late fees, interest, convenience charges. They depend on you being stretched thin. When you break the cycle, you become a bad customer, and that's a good thing. Start here. Identify the biggest place where being broke is costing you extra, and attack that first. Not to feel rich, but to feel stable. Because stability is what creates freedom. Being broke isn't a personal failure. It's a mathematical disadvantage. And once you understand the equation, you can finally change the outcome. If this video helped you see money differently, subscribe. Here, we break down the rules most people were never taught.